And just, there's a lot of young people here. Can you all, can you all see them there? Yes, you can't see them, can you? You can't see them, but take my word for it, there's a lot of people here. How many of you have some kind of body practice, yoga practice, meditation practice? Show of hands. So not so many here, but I happen to know in the audience there's, I mean, on Zoom, there's quite a few of you. And one of the reasons I'm giving this talk is because we're going to have a year-long program in Tibetan yoga, Kumne Tibetan yoga, that's going to be happening not this year, but next year. But we have all sorts of ongoing Tibetan yoga programs. Like you can come Sundays for 2 hours. There's a weekly class. There's actually an online half an hour a day Tibetan yoga class that happens. So part of the reason I wanted to give this talk is, why would you want to start a regular program? What are the benefits of practicing regularly? So for some of us, practice has to do with you're feeling tense. You just want to be not so tense, right? How many of you have like chronic tensions during the day that come up a lot? Show of hands. Not so many? Or I would say, like, how many times an hour does the chronic tension come up? Or like or perhaps something comes up in your head. You know, you get a thought about what you haven't done. I'm not trying to tense you out now. But you know, something comes up and then it's like that. So Kumne Tibetan yoga is very, very useful for relieving tension, but not just for relieving tension. It's really about being able to have like a portable body, breath, mind kit, and a way of being embodied that allows you to renew and heal and just feel. And yeah, it's very good for that. But I didn't start out liking Kumne Tibetan yoga. In fact, I found it really tough, and I thought it was kind of like boot camp in a way. And I thought, why would anyone voluntarily do this? My background is in teaching literature, in English literature. So, and maybe you all, even those of you at Berkeley High, may be being prepared to kind of have your heads go one way and your bodies go another way. In terms of academic programs, do you find it the case that in order to succeed and get ahead, first off, you're kind of screened in? You know, you've got that kind of viewpoint, and then when there's a wide gaze, it may be not in school, or it may be not on the computer, but somewhere completely other. So my sense is, and I think this is still true, that going into any kind of academic field or skill field, it can tend to divorce your head from your body. So don't you think that's kind of weird? But nobody ever says anything about it, you know? But when the way I got into this was when there's a lot of stories. Some of you have heard this about 50 times, but I was moving my college roommate with her boyfriend to a graduate program at Stanford, and on the way back, we were in a van, and the van almost hit a body that was on the entrance to the highway. And Richard, who was my roommate's boyfriend was really calm, and he pulled the body off the road, and then it turned out that this person was really drunk, and he was going to get sick, and so Richard turned him on his side so he wouldn't get sick, and I was shaking. I was completely not able to handle anything of what was going on. And so when I asked Richard how he was able to handle the situation, he said that it was through his practice, through his, in that case, it was his meditation. But he gave me some things to read, and it made much more sense than the 17th century prose that I was writing my dissertation on, which probably would never make a lot of sense in a way. But I thought, why can't we be trained in this? Why are we untrained in these things? So from then on, no matter what I was teaching, whether it was, in a setting, an academic setting for college freshmen, or I actually did a practicum at Berkeley High in 9th grade classes, where it was so chaotic. I don't know how you all ever are able to do much of anything. It was incredible, really. But anyway, I try to bring this in no matter what. So we're going to do some practices now, but I wanted to read you what I took the start of this talk from, and you can see whether or not you consider it realistic, possible, you're attracted to it or not. So this is an old and decrepit version of the first book of Kumne Tibetan Yoga. Now, if you were to get a copy, it would be orange and not this. But there's a section that's called Guiding Practice, and I just wanted to read you the opening of it, if I can find where it is, which is somewhere. But of course, I can't find it. Here it is. Okay. Exercises that are genuine and pure, uniting body and mind, truly revitalize our energies and sustain us in our daily lives. Exercises that are genuine and pure. Do you already do exercises that are genuine and pure? You get up in the morning and you say, I think I'm going to do some exercises that are genuine and pure now in order to start my day. Probably that's not the way you're looking at things. Then, this is by Tartang Tulku, the Tibetan Lama who brought this to Westerners. Then Tartang Tulku writes, when we do these exercises, we become free from negativity, dissatisfaction, and confusion, for we are able to satisfy ourselves directly instead of chasing after rainbows. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you feel that you can satisfy yourself directly through exercises, pure exercises, or whatever? So if you hold up your hands now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think you're capable of that and have access to that? So 1, 2, 3, how many? So how much are you doing now in terms of exercises that are pure? Realistically speaking, like there was somebody who did this. I'm not sure what that is. That's kind of a nice gesture. So what this is involved in, so I mean, we really need to look at what actually we're prepared to do and what the motivation is. Earlier today, the deans of the Institute, Pema and Lama Palzang, did they took us through a chant for world peace, and for part of it was because things are, you all know, we know how disordered everything is now, how scary everything is now. And so we were chanting, but Pema at the end said, let's dedicate the merit so that this can go out to world leaders and others and transform what's going on. That's part of, to develop that wish to be of benefit to others. Do you think that any kind of wish could be effective? Do you think that anything that you do with body, breath, and mind could actually transform your environment, yourself, and others? Or do you think it's hopeless? You know, you could look and really sense into the extent to which it feels like that's possible or not. And if you're just coming into things, you're still in high school, and you know, what is it that's going to help? What Kumne does is it has us turn first to ourselves, and it says, what is it within me? What can I do in terms of my own body, breath, and mind that can first transform me? How do I sustain myself? What is it that I need in order to become balanced, to have enjoyment, in order to help myself and then others? It's a little like, you know, when you're on a plane and they say, put your own mask on first, and then go to the little child next to you, you know, because if you pass out first, there's no chance for the person next to you. So what this has to do with the ongoing, this is from the same section, the ongoing exercise of body, mind, and senses. This interaction is called embodiment, a living, continuing process of enjoyment that informs all of our activities. So Tibetan yoga is about embodiment, and believe it or not, enjoyment. I'm willing to bet that lots of you already do yoga, or you're doing some kind of sports, and you're in different kinds of training, and that gives a lot of satisfaction already. But what if all of life could be an exercise in, if not active enjoyment, it could be interesting, unboring. You could maybe help yourself and then other people as well. So that was kind of a pitch, I think. I didn't know I was going to do that, but I did. So, all right, let's start out with some practice now. And the first thing we're going to do, and no one can see me very well, so wherever you are, if you're on the ground now, you can bring your, I for some reason I wore a dress today, so anyway, that's neither here nor there. Bring your feet together so that the soles of the feet are together. If you're in a chair, you can modify this so that you just bring the soles of your feet as together as you can, and you can bring them up toward your body. Your back is straight, and then this is called releasing energy. Bring your knees down, keep breathing. So you're pressing the soles of your feet together, and you bring your knees down, and just hold that for a while. Keep breathing, and then really slowly release. And you can come out of it. Sense your whole body. You may start to feel something. Certainly something happened with the soles of your feet together, right? That did something. So let's do it again. So bring the soles of your feet together so that you can really feel them, and then your elbows can come out and press down. So you can feel or imagine that you are actually contacting and generating lower body energy. You can close your eyes for a moment if you want, and sense this. This may be weird, something you don't usually do, but you're generating sensation and feeling, even if you don't feel much. And then really slowly, kind of inch by inch, release that. And as you do, feel or imagine that energy and power is starting to flow from your toes and your legs and the soles of your feet up through your legs, up through your hips, and up through your body. And what I should have said and didn't is you need to listen to your body. If this is triggering for anybody, stop it, don't do it. You can just feel your hands, or you can just imagine doing this. Kumne is very powerful in terms of what it activates through mind as well. But if you're okay with it, those who are okay with it, once more, do it a little differently. Like maybe you move your feet in or out a little more, and then press down. And this time, as you slowly come up, you can bring yourself into a posture where your legs are loosely crossed. So now just, you can come out of the posture and just have one leg in front of the other. Legs are loosely crossed. Your hands can be on your knees. And for a moment, close your eyes and just feel. So there's a lot of power that comes from our groundedness, our contact with the earth. And we can start to contact that energy. But let's now switch awareness, just allowing whatever is happening to continue, to your hands. So whatever is going on can continue to go on, but be with your hands right now. They're just sitting there, right? How alive are they? How much are they really, you could call them kind of sensors, or they're, in Shakespeare's time, the mechanicals, the rude mechanicals in Midsummer Night's Dream, they were called that because they worked with their hands. So it comes from the Latin for manus, hands. But how much are you actually feeling your hands right now? If you rub your hands, right now, if you rub your hands on wherever they are, you can rub them with a bit of force and warmth. And then stop. Imagine now that your hands have been activated and they've become alive. And that there's an interaction between whatever it is that your hands are touching and your palms, your fingers. So it's as if there's communication now from your palms and your fingers, maybe to the cloth, the material that your hands are contacting. Can you feel the texture of it, the temperature of it? The first part of Kumne Tibetan Yoga is called the inner and outer massage of feeling. And what revitalizes ourselves has to do with actually contacting and massaging the life force, the energy that we have. something as simple as just feeling our hands. So let's do a little more with this now. If you bring your hands up to heart level, and it's as if you wiggle your fingers, can you feel the air around you? You can bring your shoulders down, belly relaxed. Can you feel the air? You can wave your hands around a little bit. And you feel or imagine now as if there's warmth or like a little flame, like a little spark. There's probably a Marvel superhero who does this already. Down through the fingers. Imagine it flowing down through your wrists, your elbows, and then flowing up into your shoulders and into your heart. Because this is a circuit from your hands, goes all the way into your heart center. So when we are with our hands, the hands are actually transmitting information and flow of feeling to our heart center, which circulates to our whole bodies. And now bring your hands together, and you can start to rub the back of one hand with the other. How many of you have been on your phones or computers recently? How often have you been massaging your hands in this way in between or ever? Consider doing this secret ninja practice. No one will know that you're doing it. You're massaging your hands. Now bring the hands together and start to rub them. Keep breathing. We've already partly activated our hands, and we're going to do it more now. Bring your hands out now to heart level with the palms up. Really relaxing your wrists. Do you feel something like pulsing, tingling in your hands? You can relax your shoulders. So this is stimulation. Noticing sensations is a very kind of primary aspect of Kumne. But also so is visualization. So now you can imagine and maybe sense that through that tingling, it's as if there's a globe of energy that's starting to settle down in your hands. You can almost feel it. It's a warm, pulsating globe of healing energy. Your shoulders relax, your elbows relax as you feel the weight of this. And you can bring your hands so they face each other, the palms face each other, as if you can feel the curved sides of this globe of energy. With each of your breaths in and out, you are touching and feeling this healing energy. And the globe, the ball expands. Feel or imagine it pushing against your hands and your palms. With each pulse, the globe gets bigger. And then it starts to condense, and your hands come closer together. Smaller but very powerful and warming and healing. So just play with this a bit. There's maybe a sense of an alive, flowing, vibrating energy that you're not only interacting with, but you and your embodiment are stimulating this healing quality. It flows into your heart center. Now you can turn your hands once more with the palms up as if this globe has settled once more into your hands. And you can start to bring your hands up toward the center of your body, toward your heart area. And even before you contact and touch the center of your body, you may feel a warmth or something radiating, flowing into your chest, into the heart area. And then as you want, you can bring your hands to rest in the middle of your body in your heart area. As you do that, you can really relax. It may feel a little bit like contacting a center of healing. All you have to do now is just be with whatever is happening. You can feel or imagine that through this warmth and the flow of feeling that we've stimulated, that this moves into your heart area, into each vessel flowing with the blood, moves up, also up into the throat and the head, down through the heart into the belly, the lower body. And with each breath in and out, this warm healing energy circulates, flows up and through your body into each organ, even over your skin. Perhaps you notice now that some areas are more tense, or they feel like they're far away. Just through your awareness, through attending to whatever seems like it's blocked or tense, you're not trying to fix anything, but through that awareness and through your breathing, it's like bringing into communication, into your life, what's been having a hard time without any effort. Because Kumne, Tibetan yoga, is relaxation. Whatever comes up is coming up because it's the right time for it to come up. And you can be with it as much or as little as feels good for you. So now you can feel or imagine that this is circulating, warming and healing throughout your body. And then you can bring your hands down to your legs, relaxing your wrists. The thing about these Kumne exercises is they keep going even after the movement or the gesture is over. So let's take a moment with eyes open or closed and feel whatever is going on now. Just the noticing, just the feeling is actually continuing on and can be expanding this contact and this healing energy. So there's another practice that we can move into now that's called touching feeling. We started with the lower body. Sometimes it's suggested that it's good to start with the lower body. Often I think many of us are cut off from the lower body, so that if we can contact that, it can be a way that we can get renewable energy to come and flow. But again, you need to sense into that. For some, it's not a great place to start. But for instance, if you want to develop a sitting practice, a meditation practice, we did a variation on a practice of loosening up that uses the lower body. But another way to start is to work with the throat and the shoulders and the head. And that's what this practice called touching feeling does. And I'll also take you into the sitting posture, the 7 gesture posture, as we, after we do this a few times. Kumne practices in the first book are done 3 times or 9 times, and they're slow. And for you all who are young, you may feel like you're going to jump out of your skin. It's so slow. So there are versions of Kumne that are faster as well. So you have to listen and see what works with practice for you. But okay, so shake out your hands, get comfortable. If you're sitting on a cushion, you can move a little bit backward and forward. Can you feel those bones that are there, those sit bones that are there? And you can feel or imagine that as you're sitting in a way where then the spine flows up. There's a kind of gentle curve at the base, and it flows up, and your neck and head can find their way into balance at the top of your body. What's going on with your hands? Did they go back to being kind of like little cold fish, or are they still activated now? Can you check in with your hands? Just by sensing, just by doing that, we can reactivate the hands, which then provides senses for everything. You might think you're just working with one part of the body, but the hands actually are mapping the entire body. So that's one of the cool things about them. Okay, so whenever you want, you can renew the aliveness of your hands just through the awareness and maybe through a little rubbing. So hands are on your legs now with the palms down. You can bring your shoulders up toward your ears. Belly's really relaxed. When you're up as high as you think you can go, relax a little more, and your neck and head are going to settle down in a turtle-like fashion. And then send your shoulders, slide them back really slow. This is a massage, the sliding back. And then let them really slowly cascade down. They're massaging your shoulder blades along the sides of your spine. Let them come all the way down in this circulating of your shoulders. And at the base, let them come forward. Belly still relaxed. And this time, join an inhale to your shoulders coming up. Hold your breath a little bit at the top. And now slide your shoulders back and exhale down. So let's do this a few more times. Go in at your own pace. It's said often that the slower you go, the more you feel, but maybe you'll discover what's a good rhythm for you. So inhaling up, belly relaxed, holding at the top. Coming back, exhaling down. This is touching feeling. Let's do it, let's reverse the direction. So at the base, sliding back, and then coming up in the back. So you're massaging the vertebrae from the base all the way up. Maybe there's a little more space between the bones of your spine. Up at the top, exhaling, you're massaging the front and back of your heart. So you can do that a few times. So imagine now you're at your computer, you're on your phone somewhere, and you've condensed yourself into a two-dimensional scrunchy thing. And through this touching feeling, everything has room to expand. So let this be your last time, and come down and just feel. There's no right way to feel. It may be that you're sensing warmth, heartbeat, more space. Could be a lot of thoughts. Kumne invites communication with yourself. So whatever comes up, including not feeling much, is communication. There's no way to mess it up. So I'm wondering how that was for people. Was it possible to contact, to have some communication, some relaxation, or can you imagine doing this kind of practice, either in stealth fashion or maybe before you start a task? Is that possible for you all to imagine? It might be that no one feels like talking now as well. So shaking head, like no, yes, yes, you can imagine it. Someone's further loosening his head, so I don't know what that means. So I think part of deciding whether or not this is a practice for you is tapping into what it is that you really need. What is it that you need in order to prosper, not just get by? And it might be that through some of these very simple practices, you're getting information about what actually is happening. Sometimes that can be overwhelming, right? So, that's where I think some of us find distractions or ways to unconscious ourselves. But what if those same what comes up for us, what if what comes up for us actually could be what we can transform into what's beneficial for ourselves and others? Something that right now is identified as negative or really strong, what if that could actually become material for transformation or for healing. And that's why I'm here in part to talk about why some of you would want to do a longer program. This Kumne program is actually it's actually longer than a year, but there's weekly classes, and there's also workshops that happen, so that you can go deeply into your own practice. And in this particular program, people also train to become teachers, so that they can eventually, with their groups and with their communities, or maybe just with family members, they can start to share these practices that are helpful. It really takes time. It may be today that you have touched a bit of relaxation, or maybe something that you were surprised by, or it may even be something that you used to do, you used to know, and it just came up, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. But if we then allow ourselves to develop this practice, and Nyingma has all these different ways to do that, then you get support from other people. You can also share with other people what's going on. And this is a tradition that's been going on for a couple of thousand years, so that you also have the benefit of what others have written and practiced, so that you can tap into it. We're going to do one more practice, but I'm wondering if there are questions or issues that are coming up that anyone would like to share. Yes, and I'm going to repeat it. I'll repeat it for people. And yeah, you need to use, right. Yes, you need to use the mic. Okay. And you can see if it's on.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, it's on.
So I studied some Zen meditation, and then there's sort of like, there's not really a goal there, and then you sort of just sort of think no thinking. It's the whole practice is around emptying the mind. And then so I see how, it seems like with some other practices, such as Tibetan yoga, there's also, there's the emphasis on mindfulness, and then also channeling or forming energy. And I guess I wanted to know if you had comments on that.
Well, Kumne in and of itself, yes, sorry, good point. This question, this person has done Zen meditation, and your sense of it was, if I've got this right, you're just, there's no goal, and it's also so that mind becomes empty. And so what is the relation of Kumne and what we've been doing, which is, there are certain results for it, like there can be a deeper relaxation or integrating body and mind. So how might this or other yogic practices relate to something like meditation? That's at least the way I'm taking what you're saying. So in Tibetan Buddhism, and what Tarteng Tulku has brought for Westerners, he talks about our vehicle for embodiment, basically body, breath, and mind. And so I would say that in any kind of practice, in any kind of meditation, we're always with body, breath, and mind. And some of us are more in tune than others with this. So that Kumne is actually, there's Kumne meditation, but Kumne is a way to integrate body, breath, and mind. And what Rinpoche writes is that we are actually in a unity. There's no separation of body, breath, and mind. And there's also a relaxation of the sense of self, you could say. So, there are levels of these practices which take us into more direct experiencing of what's going on. So it may be when you first start to meditate or when you first start to do kumne, you can feel like there are many, many, many thoughts. That might have happened for some of you. It's like, because when things start to settle down, you may start to notice and sense all sorts of stuff that's going on. You know, it's like you're snorkeling and these reefs and there's like these fish starting out and octopi and all sorts of stuff, and you can get really, you can get kind of lost with everything. But what if these things are always going on anyway? What the heck is happening to us? But what if we have the ability not to just have things coming at us, but to be able to integrate body, breath, and mind? And it's that integration, massage, this is what he says, inner and outer massage of feeling. That's our heritage. This is how he says we have the ability to know and heal ourselves. So I come back again, like with this question. Let's say you're doing Zen meditation. How alive are your hands in that? How alive is your body in that? It's not like you have to, you know, flex or do anything. But what if the point is to become alive and enjoy through the vehicle of meditation? So, anybody else? Any other questions? And can you hand? Oh, and just say it, and I'll repeat it.
Okay. My question is about doing this practice in pain. So, like, I have an old knee injury. So during this practice, it was like taking a lot of my attention. So my question is, you know, what do you do when you encounter body pain or discomfort? And then secondly, if you do, how do you still find relaxation?
Okay. Well, if you have an injury or have had recent operations, the first thing is to take care of yourself. So I didn't say, I could have said, but didn't, modify or just do it in your imagination. If you've got something that's really strong, you know, that is what I would say first. But Kumne also does bring up sensations that are strong that some of you might have had, well, I don't like this, or, oh, that feels good, I want to do more of it. And that kind of identification is actually part of the practice. It's a level of experience, you could say. That absolutely will happen. But what if there are levels and layers of experience that are underneath, I don't like that, or this is painful? So it's not about like pushing through necessarily, but what if we're stopping ourselves from our experience and from the healing quality because we are turning away from what's going on? So another reason to continue to practice over time is because we start to become familiar with our habitual ways of handling what we are calling and feeling as uncomfortable. But have you ever had the experience of, wow, that's uncomfortable, and then as you're saying it, you tense up more? So what if what we can also notice is that part of how we're shaping ourselves is in reaction to our reactions? What if it's possible just through the noticing to start to relax? And that energy, which gets all gnarled up, what if it's possible for that to start to relax just through the noticing? So it's different from like doing reps and building up a muscle, you know, and noticing lactic acid. This is really working with what comes up and sensing into and starting to notice what makes possible transformation. And that does take time, right? Like any of you are playing sports now, or you play an instrument. Some people around you are probably just saying, well, eventually they're going to be able to do this. But doesn't it take time to tune in, and that feeling of when you finally get something or when there's a mastery of it? That's partly what we're talking about, that sense of knowing oneself and then having available that energy and that knowing. And the thing with kumne is it doesn't stop. Kumne means massage or stimulation of the body, but not just of physical body, it's actually the subtle body. So the flow and the energy that we were doing, that is partly subtle body, but consider, what if your body extends out farther? What if we are all part of a field in which the sense of how we exist doesn't stop with the physical body? That's another aspect of kumne, but that also takes time.
Does your knee injury make it difficult to sit in a cross-legged position?
Yeah, I mean, like I was making some modifications,
Yeah.
But just like generally.
Yeah, right.
I know for some of us, like I'm not a high school student, so I have been in this body for longer, and I just have chronic pain kind of generally,
Yeah.
unfortunately, not just the injury. So I think I'm just like generally certain things I can't like fix. So then what do I do?
Right. There was just an interaction in which the question was whether or not the sitting position hurts, in which case you would sit in a chair. You know, you modify these things. But the topic of what's positive, negative, and neutral, or what's uncomfortable, has us think about and be in what shape is my experience taking? Does it have to stay like that? And now we only have about 3 minutes, and I'm going to do a very fast exercise, and it's supposed to be done 3 or 9 times, but I'm going to do it anyway. So if you want, you can stand up now. Oops. So this is called flying. Shake out a little bit. We're going to do it 1 time slow, and then we're going to sit. We may go over time just a little bit, but this one may bring up all sorts of things for you. So your feet they can be a comfortable distance. The book says maybe a little closer together, but just sense how you want them to be. Relax your belly. How far out does your body go? I mean, you're right here, but if you kind of sense around you, even in the sensing around you, are you somehow bigger? And you're going to need a little room to have your arms come out, so you can stagger yourselves a little bit. Okay. So now allow your arms and hands to start to float up from your sides. Keep breathing. You can breathe in and out if you want through nose and mouth. I didn't actually introduce that, but you could if you want. Slow, as slow as you can. You may hit a point at about heart level where it's not so easy. You can just notice that without any judgment. What's happening with the heart? And let your arms continue to come up. Keep breathing. Imagine doing this on the top of a mountain with the wind blowing and the sun. The backs of the hands are going to come close together up at the top. And then stretch up. Like you can touch into the sky. You've got a huge wingspan, and then your arms start to come down. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. Slowly come down. Feel the growing distance between your hands, and feel or imagine that there's a flow from your hands and arms down into your heart. Keep breathing. Maybe something's uncomfortable. Can you just allow that and keep going slowly down, slower than you thought possible. Feeling with your eyes closed. When you're almost all the way down, how much space is there between your hands and arms and your sides? Feel all the way down to your arms relaxing at the base and you coming into contact with the sides of your body. Just feeling now. And then you can gently, slowly open up your eyes, continuing to feel within, but enjoying colors and shapes. You're sensing within, but also as you've contacted your heart center through the flying. Maybe there's relationship between air and space and colors and shapes. And if you stay with this as you sit now, it will continue. Let's just take a moment or two more. Just sensing the flow of energy. Rinpoche writes, with breath, body, and mind as one. This exercise calms the restless flow of thoughts and generates feelings in the heart center. So I hope you will explore and take advantage of the programs in Tibetan yoga that are offered at the Nyingma Institute. You can contact people here through email, and there's a lot of instructors of Tibetan yoga. And there's centers all over the world that we have doing these programs. And so thank you very much for coming here and for practicing together. And not next week, but the week after, there's going to be a Dharma talk by someone, Erica Lessie, who has been through this long program, and she can tell you what it was like for her. So if you're interested further, 2 weeks from now, come back and listen to her Dharma talk, okay? Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you.